Hi.
Hello.
Day 77.
Day 77.
I look tired. So sometimes right before these videos, I'll like go and like spruce my face a little, put a little eyeliner on, so you guys don't worry about me. I didn't do that today.
It's the weekend.
Don't worry about me.
Be
I'm
free.
fine.
Be free.
Yeah, it's the weekend. I'm gonna be free. We went to the beach today. We went to the pool for a few minutes. Tita came and visited us. Had a relaxing day. One of our kids took a marker. Like, they're not supposed to have markers in their room at night. They're supposed to be sleeping. But they've been writing their own books. So she got marker all over the bed. And then, so we washed the sheets today, and the marker came out. Thankfully, I bought washable markers for them, which is good. We do have some non-washable markers because of the blanket that we used at the orphanage. But there is washable markers. So we washed the sheets, and we hung them outside off our balcony. We hung them everywhere, but they won't dry because they're like queen-size sheets. So finally, Jeremy had to do the walk of shame and be like, we need bed sheets.
I'm like, William, I need a sheet.
Yeah. And so they were like, well, where's the dirty ones? And we're like, well, they're wet.
I was like, well, we washed it. And he's
like,
oh,
you don't have to wash your sheets. And we're like, but we do.
I was like, well, there was a stain on it. So.
Oh, come get it.
That's what we did.
So our youngest child's coming to get my watch to borrow while she takes a shower because sometimes the power goes out when she's there. Okay, so I want to do a commercial for Emmanuel, and I'm going to splice this video in here in just a sec. But first I want to describe him. So Emmanuel is a carpenter. He makes a lot of small, like, personalized things. And all of you guys that are watching this are really vested in Liberia. If you want to purchase something from him and like Venmo me the money, I can give him the cash. And then if you're coming, he can work on it and you can buy it from him directly when you get here. Or get it from him then, or we can carry stuff home for you guys that want to purchase. So we've met Emmanuel a few different times on the beach, and the first couple times I met him, I don't think I talked to him. I think Jeremy talked to him. And the third time I talked to him and I explained to him that we were doing an adoption and that we can't spend any extra money until we know a little bit better on our time frame here and our expenditure here and what we want to do here, like what our expectations are here. So that we would wait to spend. So, but he's come by a couple times, and I was talking to him today. He came by today, and he was just showing us this stuff again. There's Emmanuel, Gabriel, Opa, and Prince. These are the 4 vendors that we see the most. They're very professional when they speak to me. I've talked to them. I talked about them in previous videos, but today I was talking to Emmanuel, and I was like, "Hey, man, can you make a chess set? Like, my kids know how to play chess. I want to teach the new kids to play chess." And I do, as my friend Montana, she's my friend Montana, we've never met in person, we've talked on the phone, and we're both adopting from the same orphanage, and so I get to hug her kid when I see him. But Montana was like, oh yeah, that sounds good. We would like to try to help the people that are here. Some of the people that we know a little bit better than I know Emmanuel, I'd like to try to set up some type of business for them, similar to what Noonday does, if they can make a product and try to get them set up so they're having a bigger market. So I talked to Emmanuel, I was like, hey, can you make a chess set? There's a little like miscommunication as to what I meant by that, and finally he was like, oh, yeah, I can make that. So his carpentry is out of mahogany wood. And so he got to talking about it, and we negotiated the price. He normally sells them for $250, and I'm like, what about $200? Because I'm like looking at my cash like, oh, I don't know. But then like I Googled it, like a solid wood chess set, even in the States, is like $150, even if it's like fabricated wood, not mahogany, and certainly not handmade. So I was like, I was like, okay, $225. And he's like, okay, great. He's like, I need, if I can get $25 to just get the supplies, I'll make it for you. It'll take me, a week to 10 days. When do you need it by? I'm like, I don't need it till we go home. No rush. But he was like, no, I'll make it for you. And then we got to talking some more. After we'd kind of made that deal, I was talking to him some more, and I took some pictures of his items, him and Prince and Gabriel and Opa. I took some pictures of their items. If any of it interests you, I'm happy to purchase it for you and bring it to the States for you. Or if you know for sure that you're coming, I can make sure that these gentlemen know to check in with you when you're here. But supporting the local business. These guys, we've never seen them drunk or high or hungover at all. They look thin. They look like they need to have more to eat. But Emmanuel is the one we talked to today, and I'm going to splice his video in. And after I splice this video in, I'll tell you guys a little more about his story. So, but yeah, I sent it to Montana, and she's like, oh, count me in. I want a chess set too, because a chess set is something that often people have in their homes. But it's also like Montana had mentioned, I really just want Liberian culture all over my home for the sake of my son. And I'm like, That's fantastic. Me too.
It is. It's a
Me
good
too.
idea.
So I'm gonna pause here and then I'll show Emmanuel's video. Emmanuel.
Yeah, I do the craft.
I just made a deal with Emmanuel to do a chest set for me.
Yes.
So he's gonna make one
for 225.
Yeah. Yeah.
So she already gave me 25 advance.
All right. Show us what you got.
Yes, I have.
So what? These are made from what kind of wood? Mahogany.
Mahogany wood.
Yeah. And how much is the elephant?
The elephant, this size, I sell it for $20.
$20.
I sell it for 25.
Yeah. How long does it take you to make them?
The elephant, I take 2 days from the carve because I take
You
1
carve it
day
yourself,
from the
right?
carve it.
Yeah.
I take another 1 day from the finish it.
Finishing.
Yes, yes.
Okay. And what about the giraffe?
The giraffe, it take me 2 days and a half. Because I need to carve it proper for somebody to save for a free certified.
Okay.
Yeah, I like good finishing.
I gotcha.
Yeah, for customer how to be certified and for me to give me more customer.
Yeah. And if we want like a name on it or something, you can do that too, right?
Yes, I can do that. Right now, if you need a name on the giraffe, on the elephant, I can sit it right by you. I put the name there right now.
Yeah. So you buy the wood and you work at your shop?
I can buy the wood. I work to my house.
And work in your house, okay.
Yes, right to seminary, buy to seminary.
How often do you sell things? Like how many days a week do you come to sell and how many do you just work?
For me, all the time now, time for me to make a business now, the recent time, it can be hard to go make a business. But sometimes, one time, customer can bless me, and so that people can give me work, I can do the work. The picture work, I can do it also.
Right. So if people want to pre-order, like if they say for sure, like I want an elephant for my kids with a name on it, they can tell you.
Yes, I can do that.
Then
I've been working for people that represented Ellie Snow. It's a senator.
Oh, okay.
I work for him. I do the picture
so you
work.
do his work for him.
And he take me, he came to bond me. I do work. He showed me a horse where I was supposed to do work for him.
I got you.
And Ellison been knowing me.
So you
and say Johnny for some American press.
Yeah.
I worked for her before.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So it's better if you can get some people that order things.
Pardon me?
It's better if someone orders, tells you what they want, and you go work on it.
Yes, I can do that.
You don't have to.
Yes. And when they free time, some work garden, I think just the first time they were sitting here with some Liberian girl, it's a black American, they were here, they gave me some work. Their handshake.
Yeah.
They give me the 7 pieces, I do the work.
Oh, okay.
They show me time and the time is not reached. And I told them, I say, if you are finished, I'll bring the work. And I carry the work, just the free time to Kenya. Kenya hotel, I get the work and they gave my bottom money.
All right, so you're gonna make me a chest set.
Yes, I can do that.
That's gonna be $225.
Yes.
And then what else? Tell me the table.
Yeah, there's an elephant table. You can sit on that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can sit
I like
on
the
that.
table.
Yes.
Let's look down here.
You can sit on it, eat on it.
Yeah,
also.
eat on it, sit on it, use it for anything.
Yeah.
And I love the cute little elephant.
Yes.
All right. All right, and then these statues, what are those?
Yes, this is sleeping lily. You can put it on the wall so that you stand it also in the house.
Okay.
Yes.
So you can pretty much carve whatever anyone wants, right?
Yes.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
I'll send this to my friends, okay?
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Okay, part 2 of day 77. So Emmanuel, that's him on the beach. You can see my kids kind of playing in the background. At the Tropicana, we do have a clean beach. It's safe. The security guards watch us. Even when Emmanuel was talking to me, the security guard was hovering pretty close, I think, just to make sure he wasn't harassing. I want to tell you a little more about Emmanuel, though. After we had made our business deal, I was asking him some more questions, like, do you have children? you know, and this is how, and he didn't tell me any of this before we made our deal, because I mean, it's more about business, but when he started talking about his personal life, he had told us when I talked to him a couple weeks ago, we had said, we're here for an adoption and we can't really spend a lot yet. You know, we need to wait till we get closer to know we're coming home before we make any big purchases. He was like, I'll pray for God to make a way for your adoption. And he has worked with there's some Christian missionaries here that he's going to introduce us to, but that live here, that own an orphanage and a school and some other things, a church. But he learned his carpentry trade, I believe from a white woman, he said, maybe at some point when he was young. But he's definitely willing to work. So what happened, he has 3 children, one of them's 12, and then he has a baby, and there's one in the middle. His kid was hit by a car, and he's okay now. Went to the hospital, high hospital fees. He has a wound still healing on his head, but he's doing well. He's like back to playing and doing fine, okay to go to school, because he pays for his kids to go to school. Pays their school fees and all of that. So he's a little more, I mean, people that can send their kids to school in Liberia are a little higher end, so to speak. But he could do that. But he was telling me that the reason that he asked him how many days he sells and how many days he does the work, and how often he just takes a break and hangs out with his family. And he said now he's working 7 days a week because of the hospital bill. So he took his car to the police station, and they gave him money in exchange for his car to hold his collateral for the hospital bill. So the hospital bill that he owed was like $68. He's paid off 40 of it. He needs 28 more dollars to get his car out of hock. And like, obviously there's a part of me that was like, oh, here you go. Take $30, go get your car. But I think something we need to understand as Americans and just as people in general is there's a time when helping hurts. And I already made a business arrangement for him to make me a chess set. I'm going to pay him $225 for the chess set. I gave him $25 down so he can get the products and get the materials and all of that. And he has 2 more weeks to get his car out of before he has to pay more fines. But basically he gave his car for collateral to get the cash to pay the hospital. So you pay the hospital first, or they won't treat you. And then you work out the deal with the police. And so if you don't ever pay them, they sell your car. Maybe they give you more fees and more time. But that's how they do it here. So, and I was thinking, gosh, if you were on like Medicaid or Medicare or Sunshine Health or TennCare or whatever it is in the U.S., you wouldn't have that bill for your kid.
Right.
But he's willing to work. And when he was telling me that story, I'm like, wow, that's really cool. He asked me too, he's like, how does the adoption work? Like, which kids do you adopt? Which kids do you not adopt? And we talked a little bit about, legally, like he, for example, has a job, he has a livelihood. So his children, are safe with him. It could never, but if he were to die, his children would be, we used his kids as an example because they're his kids. And then we used my children that we're adopting, they don't have a surviving parent that's physically capable of working. So, there's one family member that has too many mouths to feed as is. So that's kind of what qualifies them as an orphan. Just kind of describing him. They have a foster care system here too. So it was an interesting conversation to have with him, and I was glad that I'd already made the business deal with him. So, I mean, depending on how fast he works, if he wants to finish the chess set, it is going to take some time. He normally doesn't work 7 days a week. I think he does take a family day. But he is literally coming to the beach on the weekends now, trying to sell, just trying to get that car back, trying to meet that deadline. And he's like, praise God, my kid's okay. And so that's good. But like, his kid got hit by a car. That's the people drive here like crazy. So on that note of being hit by a car, I want to splice in our video at red light when we were getting shoes. So there's 2 videos back to back of red light, and I want to show you guys that. This is red light. Insane market. It's not even full tilt right now. Bye friends, be careful carrying that box. Okay, so Nelson says that this is red light, and this is not as busy as it is. This is like not even close. Right, Nelson? But we found our shoes!
Yeah, we found our shoes.
We're trying to find the kids' shoes for school. And we are in this traffic jam of all these people.
I heard that.
They're all yelling at us. But we don't know what they're yelling. The police are... The kids waited in the car. And this guy, he's trying to help us. He wants us to give him money probably. Nelson may do it. Thanks for helping. He cleared the way for us. Whoa. Yep, this is, all right, we made it out. There you go. Maybe our video will be more exciting today. So we got half the shoes, we're gonna get the other half tomorrow. Okay, so part 3. So I think we talked about shopping for the shoes at Red Light before, and how my middle child was like, Mom, there were some serious suspects. Like there was a guy with kind of like a knife that looked like a machete cutting coconuts, and he walked a little too close to the car. Jeremy was with our kids in the car while Nelson and I were hunting for our school shoes for the kids at the orphanage. And
yeah, I'd say it's probably like my most uncomfortable moment, because there was just people walking by like eyeballing the whole length of the car, and I'm like,
yeah.
What you looking at, man?
They don't have guns. Nobody carries guns in Liberia. It's illegal. If you want a gun for hunting, you have to go to the police and basically rent it, or you can't. I mean, it's a big deal. You can't just own a gun.
But
more
people out in the wilderness, out in the bush.
Nelson has a taser that he has in his car, so it's like his taser's ready when he needs it. But there is. So the street, you can see in Red Light how people are just packed in, and they're going to market. And even today I was asking Tita, like, what if I just want like a skein of yarn? There's like a ball of yarn. I just want to work some more on the yarn. Oh, come get one of these beach towels.
Don't worry, guys. I'll be right there.
We're having a towel crisis. Just get the blue one and the green one so you guys both can have one.
What about Layla?
There should be one more upstairs.
There's one all the way up.
Look on the white table. There's one that's dry.
I think there's one all the way upstairs.
Sorry, guys.
too.
We refuse to edit.
Except for splicing in stuff.
Yeah, we refuse to edit.
Sorry about that.
We're not going to do a take 2. That's okay. But this is what these people have to do. So I can't go buy a pair of shoes. I can't buy a skein of yarn. I can't buy, there are some Crocs at the China Mall, but like nothing is readily available. And these people,
You gotta hunt it out.
Even Tita was saying like, the government, the civil servants, so the nurses, the teachers, the police, all of those people have not been paid their salary. They think maybe the police got some, but the way they do their salary is they deposit, it's a direct deposit, and 80% of it is USD, and 20% of it is Liberian currency. But they haven't been paid since January. She's a nurse, but she also she was telling me about a side hustle. She sells out of her house, like over-the-counter medications, and she's a nurse, so she can give people advice on what to take. It's not a pharmacy or anything, but she has like a medicine shop on the side, just because she knows for sure that the government's not going to pay her on a regular basis, even though she gets a salary. She's got a the equivalent of a bachelor's degree in nursing, so she's an RN. She takes care of critical patients at the government-run hospital, and she just said, they're hoping that this presidential candidate, the one that's elected, this administration, will do better at paying the civil servants. And we see that too in the police. The police are slow to do their job, and they're disgruntled, and it's hard because the average salary of a Liberian senator is between $10,000 and $15,000 US a month. So we looked it up, and the average US senator is $174,000 a year, which comes out to about $14,000 a month. But that $14,000, you and I both know, they only get to net about $10,000 of that a month, and obviously, there's other things to pay, and our cost of living there versus the cost of living here is different. So in Liberia, if you wanted to own a home, like right now we're staying at a resort, we're vacationers, but if we wanted to buy a house and live here, it would not cost us that much.
Which even in the U.S. for the senators is good. You think about the average double working income family makes about $50,000 a year, so that's still good.
It's still good, but in
senator.
Liberia, they're making this hand over fist money, and they're not, insane. And they don't have a lot of budgetary accountability. No. So we got to talk to Tita a lot about economics in Liberia today, and as much as I want to say, and that's a system that's set up that is hard because they get budgets for each county, and it's kind of a mess. So we are hoping that the new administration, but she said that that's why the last president didn't get reelected, is because of the salary issues with the civil servants is one of the main reasons.
I can bet. That's pretty rough.
So they're hoping that the guy that's in charge now, and the guy in charge now is in his 70s.
When you think about it, it's the 17th. They still haven't been paid for
since
February.
January. They haven't been paid since January.
She said the police have been paid, so maybe they'll get off
Finally,
the streets.
they thought the police, but they said a percentage, maybe not their full. She also said that there's a lot of discrepancy on, if someone is doing the same job as her, but depending on, they may be getting paid more or less. It's very, there's not a lot of equality in there.
She
They
said
do
like
have physician assistants here, so I probably get a job.
$150 to $200 a month is some of the nurses' salaries that they
Yes,
make.
but then there's other nurses that never show up to work, but they registered as if they're going to work, and so they'll get like a $500 monthly paycheck, but they never go to work, and no one checks to see whether or not they were there. There's
Wow.
like that's the
I missed
fiduciary
that part.
fiduciary responsibility.
yeah.
Fiduciary responsibility.
Nailed it.
I said it right the first time, and then it came out. I was like, "Is it who? Is it it?" So that's a problem. So these are some of the Liberian economic issues we're seeing. But again, I wanted a chess set anyway because the girls, would enjoy that, and that's a piece of Liberian culture we can have, and it's mahogany, so it's pretty nice. But if you want a chess set or something else, like if you want if you want something, I'll put the pictures in of the items that they have. Emmanuel can hand carve your name or your family name or whatever into it. There's tables and chairs, whatever. He can make anything with wood. So you just tell him what you want.
And I saw there's 2 missionaries that are a married couple that's here. They're leaving soon, but they've been here for 10 years. I noticed their sons had 2 giraffes that looked like his. They must have bought from him today.
Yeah. And he's a Christian. He said he learned his trade at a Church of God, or he went to school there.
He talked a lot about not wanting money just to be given to him. Like he wanted to
he was
work.
passionate about that. He said a lot of people in Liberia, they'll call people in the States and they're like, "Oh, can you give me some money? I'm hungry." And some of them will give them money because they're hungry, but then they don't take initiative to. Like he was kind of lecturing. They say lecturing. He was talking to me about the problems with the work ethic and people in Liberia not understanding like. You need to learn a trade. You need to take initiative. You need to learn to do stuff. So it was refreshing to talk to him. But I did, at first I was like, I don't really like those statues so much. Like I've gotten a few of those, but I'm like, I don't really know. But then I'm like,
That was a good idea.
the chess set I like.
That's a good
little
idea.
gaming.
Yeah.
Because I've thought here that girls would like, because they actually do play chess. They actually know how to play.
It's been a while since we played, so that'll be good.
And it's a lot of like handwork.
It's a good mental exercise.
Mm-hmm. But it's good. It is going to be a pricier item, but it's still a good thing to have. And he's like, I'm going to make you a couple extra in case you guys lose the pieces. I'm like, that's fair. So,
Can't buy that on eBay.
So we are cautiously optimistic that the U.S. State Department, they're here. They should have already landed, and they should be here this week. And hopefully they'll have some meetings with law enforcement as well as the Ministry of Gender and the U.S. Embassy. And maybe everybody can get on the same page about at least what's in the best interest of the children. I mean, we've been saying that we think Liberia is doing their job and doing their best. When I hear stories about senators making 10 and 15 grand a month, I'm kind of like,
maybe not.
That's not good. But at the same time, we do see positives, and we know that some of the women in leadership at the Ministry of Gender are very high up in the political food chain, and they do want our children to have families and be safe, and they know specifically about our case. So we're hoping to open those floodgates more.
Hoping they do it expeditiously, as their manual says.
Yeah. So the last video I'm going to splice in for you guys just to like understand the madness. I'm trying to find a song to put beneath it, but I'm not sure if I can. Because sometimes there's just not a song.
For what?
The motorcycle carrying a deep freezer. And
Welcome to the
it was
jungle.
like a deep freezer that you could put a body in. Maybe 2 bodies. And it was like strapped to this guy's motorcycle. And I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. So the theme of today is kind of like shopping in the streets of Liberia. I would love to, again, be able to be a contact and a source of integrity for some of the things that need to be purchased. I know Emmanuel does the wood carvings. Opa, Gabriel, and Prince. Opa does the wood carvings as well. Gabriel and Prince did more jewelry, and their bracelets are like 2 for $5, and they're wood.
It was like a coconut purse too. Did you see that?
Yeah, the purses were cool. $25.
Yeah,
and then I asked him, so $25 purse, right? And they're really cool. But then I'm like, how long does this take you to make? And he's like, 3 days, 4 days, dude. It's a long time. And I'm sure it's hard for them. Like Emmanuel today, like he scored a pretty big purchase with me, but I've met him a few times. He's been respectful of our space. He's not just bombarded us every time. They like to talk to us, and we're nice to them, and they don't, but they're good men, and they're doing their best.
Yeah.
But there's not a lot of solid employment here where you're not just taking a risk walking down the beach.
Yeah, true.
So.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's just a different world. Talk about the tip I left last night.
No, you can.
So I went to like order an adult beverage,
Yes, we had an adult beverage last night.
and I left
Don't judge us.
no judgments, and then I left a $2 tip for the bartender, and I was going to leave, and they're like, "Hey, you forgot your change."
Yeah, they're trying to give it back to
And
him.
I'm like,
because
no, it's for you.
Yeah,
And
just
just
$2. I mean, $2
and it's
for like
just
two
like,
drinks.
Wow, okay, thank you.
Like there, and I googled that too. Like hospitality services is the lowest on the food chain here.
Yeah,
Like-
and everybody's just overly
And I've worked in
friendly.
hospitality myself, and in waitressing. I worked at Gaylord for a while. Gaylord Opulade, and like, I worked at a good place where I was still getting them half of minimum wage no matter what happened. But I just, when you're, I mean, I know I'm speaking from a place of privilege, and we all know that there's not going to be a day that I'm going to go hungry and that somebody's not going to help me because I'm an American and I have friends and family, blah blah blah. But I will say that when your goals and your day and your week and whether or not you're gonna be able to pay your rent or pay your bills and you're in school and you got all these things going on depends on the kindness of strangers giving you a tip or the kindness of strangers purchasing something that maybe they didn't know they wanted. Like that's kind of the thing. Like Yvonne told me that about some of the Noonday stuff. People have to see something in 3 different ways or at 3 separate occasions before they'll actually buy it. And that's true. Like I saw Emmanuel 3 different times, 3 different moods of me before I actually made a purchase from him. And I told him what I wanted. I didn't even know that I wanted a chess set. So I think that the law of marketing is true. But it breaks my heart to see these people with barely a basic education peddling their things up and down the beach, hoping and praying to God that somebody likes what they're doing, but they're not asking for a handout. They're asking you to purchase something they're very proud of. So it makes me, again, very excited to be a part of the Noonday thing. I need to give away my free bracelet. I need to spin the wheel for the fauna bracelet. And if you guys would please play that. If you're not in the Noonday Facebook group, just let me know. I'll add you because it is a private group. But that's just so I can give away the freebies and tell you about the sales early. It has to be a private group. But it makes me, when I know that I'm working with a company that as an independent ambassador, like 1099 for profit, working with a company that knows people like this, finds talent like this in all these underdeveloped countries, like seeks them out in Peru, Guatemala, Uganda, Nepal, and then gives them the connection of marketing. Like not doing it for them, but just marketing something. And then buying it up front and seeing how it sells and then buying more if it sells well. That's something that as Americans, I don't think that it's our responsibility, but it sure is cool if we do it.
Yep.
Because it's reaching out to our peer group. So we did that a lot today.
Yes.
That's a creepy smile. Let's do our creepiest smile. Is that your creepiest smile? That's not your creepiest smile. Oh, we forgot. The last picture on here. I'll do one last picture. What Jeremy cooked.
Oh, yes.
Today.
Some skillet fried chicken legs.
Yes, they were
and
good.
Some fried skillet corn and.
Hang on, let's pause real quick. Okay. All right. So part 4. So I hope you guys enjoy the picture of the chicken that Jeremy made. He assures me that he used the meat thermometer on every angle of the chicken to make sure it's fully cooked because I don't know how much you guys know about microbiology or like culinary arts, but like it's things that are so
check out the fancy words.
Most things that so if I were to buy something at the grocery store that's FDA inspected or whatever, Food and Drug Administration's taken a gander at it. It has certain guidelines. It's never gotten to a certain temperature. It has all these rules. That is going to be FDA inspected and safe. So even if I don't cook it perfectly right, it probably doesn't have bacteria in it. It probably doesn't have anything dangerous in it because it's been very regulated on its preparation. This is just the American way. And it's good. I know some people don't like the FDA, but it's good.
Bunch of commies.
It's overall, it protects us. And like if one little package has something bad in it, then it's on the news, so it protects everyone. Okay. But like when you're in an underdeveloped country, I don't like to say third world. I like to say underdeveloped.
They say developing too.
Developing country. Developing country.
I like that one.
I just want you to know that like if you just keep cooking it, most of the time, like 9 times out of 10, that'll get. Like make sure you don't see anything in it. Make sure it looks good, and then just cook it through. Like, get it to that temperature. Most bacteria is killed at a certain temperature.
We all know
It's
chicken is
foodborne
165. I may go up to 180 on most of it.
Yeah. So Jeremy's like, I'm like, well, are you sure you're cooking it even? Like, I think you need to put more oil in. And he was like, that's fair. So he put more oil. I could tell when I said it to him, he was like, what do you know? But then I noticed when he was cooking it, he showed me he got a little more oil this time. Well, so for submersion.
Chicken legs were really thick, so I had to get at least half the coverage. So I had to really dip,
you rolled your eyes
the
first time I told you.
That was with the chicken wings. Different, whole different thing.
I'm just like, just make sure you really cook it evenly.
Yeah, so
we're eating chicken. We've been eating chicken since we got here. I do feel better on the higher protein days.
I do too.
The protein powder pancakes just really.
It's a lot more work. Like I miss just baking and just putting in the oven.
And walking away.
Yeah, I mean,
I tried to clean up tonight, so you won't be like cooking and cleaning up. Sometimes Jeremy will clean up too, because I just.
And make the water.
Well, making the water sounds like you're peeing. It's not that hard though.
Filtering the water.
I brought the filter.
You know, our filter's getting slower.
You know, you supported.
I'll open the. Hold on a second. I opened the top up, and I was like, "Ew, I'm glad we have this thing."
The filter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The first initial end of the filter is looking. The other end's clean still.
Well, once we get past 5,000 liters, it won't be good anymore. Yeah. You are supposed to kind of flush it back every now and then and clean it out with clean water.
Oh, okay.
So we should probably do that.
Should do that, yeah.
Every 1,000 liters, it says you should flush back.
Yeah, I don't know if we're there yet, but if it makes it faster, down with it.
Well, I threw away the directions, but so here's the strength in our marriage for Jeremy and I is that I did all of our packing and all of our decision making on what we would bring to Africa. And a couple things I really nailed it on, like really, really nailed it. She's just going to the bathroom. She'll be back. Yes. So the couple things that I really nailed it on is number one, the battery pack we showed you guys. It will charge. It has a plug outlet so we can use it for like regular stuff, not my straightener, but regular stuff. That's something I really nailed it on. I've kind of gone back and forth about the stroller because I kind of feel like I should have just left the stroller, but I've used it a lot since we got here. It's kind of like, not really my junk drawer, but kind of a closet. It's got a lot of stuff in it. Like stuff I don't need constantly, but then I need down here.
It's a clothesline.
I use a clothesline for it.
It's a good weight for a clothesline.
Yeah, and it's a good place to just put stuff that I don't need right now, but I need to access. Like the beach towels are there sometimes, and so I don't know. I'm still kind of on the stroller thing. Like maybe I'm okay with it being here. Like I feel like I'm still using it, but I wouldn't say that strollers on my deal breaker. The water filter thing, it's like a basic camping one. Ours is move your head just a touch. Ours is hanging right there. Okay, come back. Ours is a bag that is easy to pack and it's for camping, but basically it's just like a osmosis type filter. Other things that I really probably didn't need, like ketchup. I brought ketchup and I brought one bottle of ranch dressing, which we're still using because I'm the only one that likes it. Jeremy likes it too.
I like it, but I'm saving it for you.
Thank you. And I brought ketchup for my oldest daughter. We've gone through that very quickly, but they have over there. So we could have.
She likes the ketchup here, which has a little bit more spice to it.
Yeah. So the ketchup I'm probably gonna go either way. With peanut butter, like to be fair, you can buy peanut butter here. It may not be your Jif peanut butter, but we have not run out of peanut butter yet. We've gone through the pancake mix completely now, so we had to buy pancake mix, which was pretty pricey, right?
It wasn't bad. We used it tonight for the breading for the chicken.
Well, and the pancake mix that we found does require the eggs, whereas the one I brought from home did not.
It was just add water.
And so, but I made all the decisions on packing. I brought the frying pan. We have gotten an extra frying pan. I brought the spatula. I didn't bring a pot, but we're using it right now. But some of the things I brought, like I brought toilet paper from home, but you can buy toilet paper here pretty easily. I brought trash bags from home.
They call it toilet tissue if you're going to ask.
Brought trash bags from home. You can get trash bags here. They're kind of expensive. But my espresso machine, pass that over. So Jeremy makes me espresso every day. This is a like camping type espresso machine. It'll make 2 rounds and then it has to recharge. But it charges, and he brought my bean grinder too. And so I usually like to make a protein shake with like noonday coffee and some bananas, but we haven't really bought any produce. We need to get some produce.
Grinder.
I think we're okay to buy it. I saw what the bananas are that come in the truck. I saw the plantains and bananas getting off this like 15-passenger van today or a couple days ago. Did you see those?
I did. I really need to get with Nelson though and just get a price point so I can make sure I'm not getting ripped off.
Or maybe Emmanuel tomorrow could help us with some produce.
Yeah.
He's on it. Nelson loaned us a different driver So I think he had some stuff to do this weekend. So Emmanuel drove us around. Emmanuel does not talk very much, but Jeremy's like, you're going to break him in. I'm like, no, I mean, if somebody's truly an introvert, like, I don't need to talk to them. And they probably are, like, scared to talk to me. But, like, if there's an extrovert in the driver's seat, and Jeremy lets me sit in the front seat because...
He called you boss. I thought that was funny.
Boss lady.
Boss lady.
Jeremy lets me sit in the front seat because I get super car sick when I'm not... I get super car sick even in the front seat, but it's a little bit better.
And also, you may hear a Liberian say, like, big sis or something. That's not like it's a compliment. Like, you're in charge.
Yes, big mom or big sis or big boss.
Yeah.
These are all good things.
Yeah.
Big, like she's a big woman, or she's, that means she's a big woman in Liberia, means that she's an important woman in Liberia, or high in the government, or well respected. So there's that. But the way our marriage works is that I made all these decisions on things to bring. Jeremy did not make any decisions on things to bring, and even when he tried to pack his own clothes, I called it. I was like, you have to drop that by 30%. But he just like submitted to that. He's like, I don't care. Like, you just tell me whatever. But once we're here, he uses everything that I brought, and he like he's great at cooking. He's great at putting all that together, and great at like, he's doing the kitchen pretty much. And I brought things for the kitchen, but like I get overwhelmed. Even today, I was like, oh, I'm standing in the kitchen cooking something. And my middle child was like, you're cooking that? I'm like, oh yes. I just wanted to brown my rice a little bit.
Thank you for
it's a
my
little
compliment.
dry. Yeah, so I bring the tools for Jeremy. He doesn't complain about the tools. He uses them, and he just says thank you. So, but that's how our marriage kind of works, is that I collect the things. I'm the gatherer.
Yes.
And you're the implementer.
Implementator.
Implementator. Yeah. Okay, so the highlights for today are driving in Liberia, selling things, like basically marketing in Liberia for these people is what I want you guys to really grasp. And even like that deep freezer, it had a hole in the side, but I'm sure they're taking that for a business purpose. I guess it's going to be something somewhere. So
Yeah.
It looked like somebody's like wife was like, I need that, make it happen. And this guy was like,
I
on
really
it.
appreciate their ingenuity with the transport of things on the back of a motorcycle.
not safe. I was just like, you'll see in the video. You saw it already.
I haven't seen a coffin on the back of one, but I would be surprised. I have seen coffins go
We're going
by.
to end on that note. Day 77. Bye, friends. I'm trying to get a quick video of this guy carrying a deep freezer on the back of his motorcycle. Literally a deep freezer on the back of his motorcycle. I mean, sort of. Wow. I'm curious if it's just gonna like topple over. Yeah. It's okay. I mean, one sharp turn and he is gonna be toast. Oh.
Ow.